Hundreds of new movies come out each year. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, like very bad. Today, I have a list of 10 of the worst movies of all time. I'm sure there could be a much longer list, but these are the opinions of the internet, not mine. Although I will give my opinion also. I'm your host for this one. I'm Joss Bedard. Thanks for checking out Top 10 Beyond the Screen. If you're new here, make sure you keep up with us outside of YouTube. You can find our social media links. They are down below. And stick around till the end because I will be shouting out some of your comments. But for now, let's get into the worst movies of all time. Also, make sure you guys let me know in the comments which movies are your worst movies. Let me know your opinion. I want to know. Beginning list number 10 is Evan Almighty. The movie was meant to be a sequel spin-off of Jim Carrey's hit Bruce Almighty. But this time, Steve Carell took the lead and told the story of a congressman named Evan Baxter who gets a visit from God who asks him to build an ark for an upcoming flood. The movie must have seemed like a good idea at the time since it had more than double the budget of Bruce Almighty, but the biblical comedy bombed despite being the most expensive comedy ever made at that time. It received a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes and was the furthest thing from a hit. It remains to be one of the biggest box office bombs in history thanks to its insane budget. The budget for this movie, drumroll please, was $175 million and they only earned back $174. Not even breaking even. Ugh, that kills me. I'm sorry, but come on. You should have known you could not compete with Jim Carrey's Bruce Almighty. Next up at number 9 is Catwoman. Halle Berry had the chance to take on the superhero role, probably not knowing that it would become legendary for how bad it was. It was originally supposed to be a spin-off of Batman Returns, with Michelle Pfeiffer returning to play the hero, but they reworked it into a standalone movie and gave the part to Halle instead. She won the Razzie for Worst Actress and accepted it in person with her Best Actress Academy Award in her hand, just to remind everyone that she's not this bad. The movie's budget was $100 million and they weren't even close to breaking even, only earning back $82 million of that. What a waste. Sliding into number 8 is Zeroville. After landing himself in some serious scandals, James Franco took some years off from acting, but made his return in 2019 with this movie. The film was created by him, and he also starred alongside big names like Megan Fox, Seth Rogen, and Joey King. It's hard to say what about the film made it so terrible, but after being released in some theaters, it received a ton of negative reviews. The movie was nominated for 3 Golden Raspberry Awards and was one of the biggest box office flops of that year. It was the worst for James's career, let's just say that, and it made a total of $78,000. $78,000. I mean, we gotta compare that to what James usually makes in his movies, which is like millions. That's a rough go. Rolling into the number 7 spot is Jupiter Ascending. The people behind this movie were also behind The Matrix, so it wasn't expected to be such a big flop. Jupiter Ascending was meant to launch a brand new sci-fi franchise, hoping that it would be an epic one. It also had 2 huge stars as the lead, Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis. Some people praise the movie for having cool special effects and a unique storyline, but it barely managed to break even with its big $179 million budget. It made back $182 million, so only profited a couple $1,000,000, which for us is like, whoa, I'll take a couple $1,000,000, but for them, it's nothing. It also received a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. Although I gotta say, seeing Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis paired up for a movie was kind of exciting. For me anyways. Coming into the number 6 spot is Holmes and Watson. Speaking of another exciting pair, this one had 2 of the funniest guys in Hollywood, but somehow was still a major flop. Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly teamed up to play the famous detective duo, but the comedy spoof was dubbed by many critics as the worst film of 2018. Their budget was only $42 million and they made back $41.9 of that, just shy of breaking even. Turns out that the movie was actually so bad, Sony tried to sell distribution rights to Netflix, but Netflix declined. They did not want it. The New York Times Review was also recommending to audiences that they sneak booze into the theater others to make it tolerable. It's hard to believe that this movie would be so bad with this kind of duo. I mean, these guys killed it in Step Brothers, so I don't know what happened with this one. We've made it halfway, and we have From Justin to Kelly. Remember that time when Kelly Clarkson acted in a movie? Yeah. It was after the first season of American Idol was a huge hit, and she won the top prize with Justin Guarani taking second place. So what better idea than to make a musical comedy and feature both of them in it? Sadly, it did not succeed in the musical genre or the comedy category. Critics tore apart the script, said the choreography was bad, and just said that it was not a good way to showcase two rising musical stars. Their budget was $12 million, and they only made back $4.9 million. It also received a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, and to this day, Kelly Clarkson says that she regrets doing the movie. When asked about it, she said, "When I won, I signed that piece of paper and I could not get out of it." Girl, I get it. Moving on to number 4, we have Good Luck Chuck. Dane Cook was one of the hottest comedians at the time, but he was never able to turn his fame into a successful movie career. He tried though, with Good Luck Chuck being one of his attempts. It was a good effort though. He was paired up with Jessica Alba for the lead roles in the movie. But the movie didn't make audiences laugh like his comedy normally did, and only received 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. That has been the lowest rating on our list so far. It did earn some money at the box office, but made it on several worst film of the year lists. Many reviews said that Dane should just stick to voiceover work and his comedy skits. I agree. He is a good comedian. Cruising into number 3 is The Lone Ranger. Disney went all in with this one when they wanted to make a reboot of The Lone Ranger. They threw in a huge budget of $250 million and put Johnny Depp as the lead. They were hoping that this one would replicate the same success of Pirates of the Caribbean, so they actually hired the original Pirates director and screenwriters too. On top of their massive budget, they also spent a whopping $150 million on marketing costs, like on top of the 250. So we know that they were trying really hard to make this one a hit, but the gamble with all of their spending did not pay off. Critics and audiences found the movie was too dark, too violent, and way too long. The movie ended up costing Disney $160 million, so that took a huge loss, to say the least. Taking over second place on our countdown is Transformers: The Last Knight. It's hard to believe that a Transformers movie would flop, seeing as the franchise has had massive success overall. And to be fair, it wasn't a complete fail when it comes to money, because it did earn over $600 million at the box office, but that is not the only factor that decides if a movie is good or not. This was the 5th installment of the franchise and ended up losing Paramount $100 million because of their budget. It only scored 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, and critics claim that this was by far the worst one of the series. The movie is criticized for being confusing, too loud, mean-spirited, and overall just ridiculous. Honestly, not gonna lie, I kind of stopped watching them because they got worse over time, in my opinion. Winning the number 1 place is Cats. This movie was highly anticipated ever since they first announced that they were going to make this live action version with all of Hollywood's biggest stars. Seriously, like this movie was packed with celebrities. I think that's why we all thought there was no way that it could fail. Their budget was $95 million and only made back 74 of it. But not only was it a box office flop, the audience was super disappointed with the outcome. It only got a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. I just have to say, I don't know why someone ever thought that this was gonna be a good idea. You can pack a movie with all these celebrities, but when they are dancing and they're trying to sing in these weird cat outfits, it's just, oh, I don't know why you thought this was gonna be a hit. It just kills me. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this list down in the comments. You might disagree with the internet. Some people actually did like Cats. So let me know your thoughts, and also give this video a like so that I know you enjoyed it. But for now, I'm gonna check out some comments from celebrities who are wasted on live TV. Heidi Border says, how do they allow wasted people on air at all? It's disgraceful. Actually, some talk shows actually have booze offered to them. Like people drink and have some drinks while they're doing the interview. YTK Beat says, this wouldn't have happened if there was quarantine back in the days. Well, yeah, but a lot wouldn't have happened if there was quarantine. So I think I'd rather see some wasted celebrities on TV than stay in quarantine. Movie Man 909 says, Fergie's beginning to age noticeably. That's fine. We are all going to age noticeably. God, I probably already am. Laura Lopez says, I love you guys. Hey, what topic is your favorite to cover? Honestly, that is so hard. I like a good mix of like, you know, some celebrity gossip and news with some like actual movie facts and Netflix stuff. Recently, my favorite video was the Netflix crime documentaries because that is my life. So that was a lot of fun. All right, guys, that is all I have for you. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and also ring our notification bell so that you get notified when we post our next video. I've been your host, Joss. I will see you next time. Who asks him to build an ark for an upcoming. Yep, clumbing. Heidi Border says, how do they allow